Let's move on now to the third email of the day. And the third email today comes to us from Gerald Mins, who writes, "Greetings and salutations, John." Well, greetings, Gerald. "I had a chance to see Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, and it completely blew away my expectations. I know you said you didn't like the animation style in the trailers, but I think it works great for the movie. Have you had a chance to watch it yet? And what did you think?" All right, thanks a lot for the email, Gerald. And I'm going to tell you what, Robert. I was talking to you yesterday, and I said, "Man, let's go see Spider-Man in the Spider-Verse tonight," but you couldn't go last night. So
No, I'm
and
so
Anne had her work Christmas party last night, so she couldn't go. My buddy Sol had his work thing, and our friend Cliff couldn't go, and I had nobody to go with. So I'm like, screw it. I'm just going to go myself. So I went last night, which, by the way, everybody, if you're wondering where this week's episode of The Weekly Hero is, Robert and I did shoot it yesterday, and I was going to edit it last night and put it up, but then I saw there's a 6 p.m. screening of Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. And I put out on Twitter, I said, guys, I can either edit and upload The Weekly Hero, or I can go watch Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. And I decided to go watch the movie. So The Weekly Hero will be put up later today. But I'm going to tell you what. Forget it. This movie is one of the best films of the year. It is not one of the best animated films of the year. It is not one of the best superhero movies of the year. Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse is one of the best movies of 2018. It might be in my top 3. It's definitely in my top 5. It may be in the top 3. It is one of the best reviewed movies of the year, sitting at a 99% on Rotten Tomatoes. Might drop down to as far as like 98% or something like that, with a huge 9 out of 10 average score, which makes it pretty much the best reviewed movie of the year. It's incredible. Let me tell you what, you're right. I was not on board with this movie at first. I thought it was kind of a silly notion at first. Then I even saw the first trailer. I'm like, I'm not digging the animation style. And I heard a lot of great things, but I got to admit, I went in, even though I was anxious to see it, I went into it last night feeling a little iffy. Like, okay, let's see what this really is about. Guys, and I was saying to you, Robert, a little bit earlier, I was saying that, we go in, it's a comic book animated movie, right? So we're thinking it's going to be boom, pow, explosions and blah, 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 blah. Dude, this movie has character. This movie has depth. This movie has heart. And it doesn't do any of that at the expense of having good action and good excitement. And of course, it's a Spider-Man movie, so great humor as well. It understood we don't have to do either or. We don't have to make a dumb movie that has some big explosions, some great excitement, and a fun time. We don't have to just make a movie that has heart and character and good story and makes you relate and attach yourself emotionally, blah, blah. We didn't have to choose one or the other. We can do both. And they did it. And that's why I came out of this movie last night going, and I got on my phone immediately as soon as I came out, and I started getting on Twitter. I'm saying, this is not just a great animated and comic book movie of the year. And by the way, this very well could be, and yes, I understand this is the same year that Avengers Infinity War came out. This could be the best comic book movie of the year. And as much as I freaking love Incredibles 2, this could very well be the best animated film of the year. And I'll say it is. And it is in the top 5 best movies of the year. I could not believe the experience I had coming out with the emotion of it. And again, take the superhero aspect out of it. If it was just about this kid, Miles Morales, and struggling with the change in his life and identity, and these different cast of characters come into his life, it still would have been a triumph of a movie. You put it into the package and the shell of a Spider-Man movie and it works even great. And I'll tell you what else, Robert. Here's something else. And you guys may not get what I'm talking about here till you see the movie, but watch it and get me on this. And it's just going to give me a second to rant and bitch on the way CW has treated Superman. Okay, so you guys know that I've been complaining about how CW has treated the Superman character. And I get these apologists saying, oh, but John, I mean, it's the Supergirl show, so you got to put over Supergirl. You got to make her look good. And say, you don't have to make somebody else look like an idiot to make somebody else look good. In this movie, Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, you still get the sense Peter Parker is Spider-Man. And Peter Parker is still kind of the head Spider-Man. He's like the model of Spider-Man. And they made him look great. And guess what? They didn't have to degrade the Peter Parker Spider-Man in order to elevate the Miles Morales Spider-Man. They did both. They elevated both. And I'll be honest with you. I've read some Miles Morales Spider-Man stuff. I've never been that big of a fan of the character. I just haven't thought it was that good of a character. I love Miles Morales now. Like, now I am completely down with Miles Morales, and they didn't have to tear down the one Spider-Man to elevate a different Spider-Man. They just said, look how great this guy is as well. And they did it, and all the Spider-Gwen character, great. The Spider-Man Noir character, great. What was her? Patty Parker, the kind of anime Spider-Man girl, was great. John Mulaney as Peter Porker, the Incredible Spider-Ham, everything you wanted him to be. Kingpin was great. Aunt May is great. The characters are wonderful. It's got heart and emotion, and I just can't believe how excited I am about this movie that I couldn't have given 2 squirts of piss about when I saw the first trailer.
All right, then let me ask you.
Oh, yeah.
I want to ask you, do you think it's in the running to win Best Animated Film at the Academy Awards?
It's got to be a front runner. I mean, unless there's some technical reason, unless there's a technicality that keeps it from it, look, like I said, it is not just animated, it may be the best, one of the best, if not the best reviewed movie of the year.
Sure.
It's got to be. And I said a couple of months ago, Robert, I said, well, just forget the whole competition now. Incredibles 2 is your best animated film of the year. Period. It's already over. The competition's done. Oh God, this has got to teach us not to jump the gun. Because yeah, if I'm an Academy member today, I cannot believe I'm saying this. 72 hours, I never would have believed I would say this. But to me, I'm casting my vote easily. Easily, I'm casting my vote right now for Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. As much as I love Incredibles 2, and I thought Incredibles 2 was a triumph of an animated film, I have to give it to that. But the funny thing is, Rob, I'm not even thinking about today, now, 18 hours removed from seeing the movie, I'm not even thinking about Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse in terms of, how good of a superhero movie is it? I'm not even thinking about Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse in terms of how good of an animated film is this movie. I'm thinking of Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse today, and I'm now trying to figure out, where do I rank this film in terms of the best movies of the year? I'm now sitting here thinking of Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse in the same breath as when I think of A Quiet Place, and in the same breath of when I think of Black Klansman, and in the same breath of when I think of If Beale Street Could Talk, and in the same breath as I think about Roma. That's where this movie instantly jumped into, and if you had asked me 72 hours ago if that was really going to happen, I would have said, no way in hell, man. No way in hell this is going to happen. So, I mean, God, here's the thing. The way I'm reacting to it right now, it kind of feels like I'm thinking this is the best movie I've ever seen. Dude, it's like you just lost your virginity. Well, that still hasn't happened. I'm still waiting for that. But, I mean, the part about it is it was such a surprise. Again, I didn't like the original trailer that much. I didn't even think it was that great of an idea. Yes, I heard all the hype, and I saw all the early reviews, and I was getting enthusiastic about seeing it, but I never actually really considered that I'd be coming out of this movie thinking it was one of the best films I've seen in the entire year. And it's that happiness as a movie fan seeing a great movie combined with the absolute shock and surprise of having a movie you're going in to watch be so much better than you thought it was going to be. Right. And I'll say this, Robert, if people are going into Spider-Verse expecting wall-to-wall action, blah, 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 like a lot of stereotypical comic book movie things, you might walk out disappointed. If you're going in to see a great story with some fun action and all that kind of stuff, you are going to come out so pleasantly surprised. Like, I'm not saying this is a slam dunk best movie of the year, but it's in the conversation, man. It's in the conversation. And man, I forget again, it's eclipsing for me Infinity War, Black Panther, Deadpool 2, all. I love them. I love them all. But Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse for me right now, and I may feel differently once I see Spider-Verse one or two more times and I marinate on a bit. But if I had to say right now, I'm saying this is the best comic book movie of the year.
Wow.
And I'm shocked. And I know you haven't had a chance to see it yet, Robert, but dude, go see it as soon as you can.
I can't wait.
I think you're going to love it. I think
Can't
you're
wait.
just going to love it. All right. With that